Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year again. We've had the FM20 beta for a good couple of weeks now. We're all very familiar with the full version of Football Manager this year, but we are also approaching full release day, and full release day means release of all the other versions of Football Manager that we've got to sample as well. So we've got FM Touch, we've got FM Mobile, we've got Switch versions, mobile phone versions, tablet versions, Google Stadia versions, and I'm going to be having a look at all of those versions here on the channel, in addition to starting my main FM20 series for the year, Non-League to Legend, which starts on launch day of the full game. If all of that excites you or even just mildly interests you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on for daily FM20 content in all its different flavours, and of course pop a like on this video to show that you appreciate the first look videos that I like to do. This one is a first look at FM Touch, or football. Is it FM Touch 20 or FM20 Touch? I think it's FM20 Touch. They keep changing the way it works. But this is Football Manager Touch. This is the PC version, but this is the game that will also appear on tablet and Switch. FM Mobile is the one that's going to be on mobile phone, and then the Stadia version is going to be full fat FM, but just on the Stadia. So we're going to have a look at them all individually, like I say, but for a first look at FM Touch, we're having a look at the PC version, and just to get an idea of how it differs from the full version of FM that we've been playing so far. So to have a look at the first little menu screen, we can see we've still got Fantasy Draft in there. You can still do online games. Creator Club still exists. We have the challenge modes, which are always interesting. Do I want the touchscreen optimized skin? You know what? Yes, I do, because then it will look a bit more like how it's going to look on tablet and Switch rather than it just looking like the PC version. But we can certainly have a look at the two different. I mean, that looks exactly the same. Show me the challenges. I already said yes to this. Have I broken the game? No, then. Here we go. So, are these the same as the ones we normally get? The Saviour Cometh is the one where it's a team who are in relegation, you take over partway through the season. We have Injury Crisis. I think these are the same ones that we get each year. I don't think there's anything new here. Invincibles, You Can't Win Anything with Kids, Unrest at Home, Top Division Underdog, and everybody's favourite, the Financial Storm. And then within each of these, you can pick how hard you want it to be, and it gives you an idea of the length that it will be. I mean, they are fun. They're fun little things to have on. I tend to have if I'm going to play on my Switch or my iPad, it tends to be little challenges, so they're little short-term saves. They are a lot of fun. And we've still got versus mode as well, so you can play against friends. But we're just going to load up a normal career and just have a little look. So as ever, I'm going to have a little look as my beloved Peterborough United. We'll do an advanced setup just so we can have a proper look at all the nooks and crannies of the game as we're setting it up. So FM Touch, as ever, you can select 3 nations. It's selecting ones that we might want to use. We've already got England selected, which we have to have because we're managing Posh. We'll load up a couple of extra leagues as well. Should we just add in Scotland and Ireland as well to round out our 3? You can set to remove nation and league restrictions, so you can have loads of leagues loaded, but if you do that, you can't then do the cross-save thing with the tablet version. So one of the great things about FM Touch is that you can have a save that runs on your PC, save it into the cloud, and play the same save on your iPad. But you can only do that if you limit it to 3 leagues. So you know for yourself whether you want to be able to do cross-sync. I tend to do it, so I leave that on because, quite frankly, it's very rare that I'll sit on my PC and play FM Touch. If I'm sat at my PC, I'll probably be playing normal FM, but it's quite nice to have the option to do it. So my iPad version, I tend to have it synced up to the PC one, so I keep that in place. We can then hit Start Game from there and see what's different. I know from having a look at the features they've announced, a lot of the big headline features for the full game this year have been brought over to FM Touch. If you're not familiar with FM Touch, it's like a slimmed down version of the full game, designed to be closer to the older style Football Manager games where you could get through leagues a little bit quicker. It's got a little bit less complexity. It's a really good beginner's sort of way into Football Manager if you're looking to try Football Manager out. The PC version does come free with the full version of FM on PC as well, and that's another area that people often get confused each year. Yes, if you buy the full version of FM on Steam or through my link, which is down in the description below, you do get a free copy of FM Touch, but it is the PC version of FM Touch. Every year I get people saying to me, where's my iPad code? That you don't get that. You have to buy the iPad one separately. But let's start playing. He looks just like me. And straight away, this screen is absolutely identical to the one on the full version of FM, which is awesome. Presumably it's slightly slimmed down, but all of that's interesting, because when I started with Posh back down in London on full FM20, it gave me a best 11 that was a different formation to that one. So I like the fact that that's changed. That's quite cool. It's got all of the Club Vision stuff in, which is awesome. It's got all the inductions and things, which I don't want to do the inductions, but I still don't know that there's any way to turn this off. I'm sure there probably is. I just don't know what it is. And then it gets you into the game. And as you can see, it looks a lot like the full version of the game. The one thing that's significantly different is that you've not got anywhere near as many emails to start things off, because there are fewer options, fewer things that you can take control of. So you've got tactics, but tactics differs on touch to the full game, because on the full game you have 3 tactics that you're training and you have to build up tactical familiarity. On FM Touch, you just pick one tactic and you're immediately 100% familiar with it. So if we wanted to do a gegenpress with the diamond, for example, that is our tactic. If we then wanted to try a different tactic, you just change it. You don't have to have your tactics being trained. So it's a little bit more pick up and play. So that's stayed in there from the previous year. It looks like we do have the Club Vision stuff though, which is awesome. I'm just going to accept the current Club Vision. If you want to see more about Club Vision, have a look at my FM20 first look video, because I'll go into it in quite a lot of detail there. So I don't think I need to here. But it looks like it's going to work the same way as it does in the full version of the game, which is also cool. If we go and have a look in all the different tabs, just to see the little bits that we can tweak. Training wise, you can just set your backroom stuff to do it, which is what I would always do on touch. But you can get involved and do it yourself. It's not as in-depth as it is on the full version of the game, but we do still have the development center again with an induction, so you can keep track on your young players who are any good. There's slightly less detail in here. For example, you don't have an under 23 and an under 18 team. You just have reserves, just to simplify it a little bit. But you do still have your youth candidates coming through, players you can send out on loan, etc. Team report wise, this works in pretty much the same way as it does on the full version of the game. Staffing is a little more simplified than full FM. Rather than having loads of different staff in loads of different positions, you kind of just pick the key roles and sort it from there, which again, it's all about simplifying it a little bit. And do you remember when I showed the staff responsibilities screen on full Football Manager? I think it had 99 different responsibilities that you can either choose to do yourself or allocate to backroom staff. You can see that that is massively simplified here on FM Touch. So the only bits you can get involved in are these, and even these you can still pass off to backroom staff. So it's much quicker to start a game, just get going with it, just get playing. And that's where you can hire new staff from. Training we've already looked at. Schedule is exactly the same as it is on the full version, as is the competition screen, I think. Scouting, finish there. Scouting works the same way. So you decide, you set your scout assignments here, or you can have a backroom staff do that for you, and then your scout reports arrive in there, presumably. So that's slightly different to how it is on the full version of the game. But these are the players who then arrive having been scouted. I would suggest he might be a little out of our price range at Posh, but what do I know? Transfers, club info. Again, it's a slightly different looking screen, but does roughly the same thing. Club Vision is still there. Finances, Dev Center. So much simplified, but much quicker to get started. So if we hit continue a couple of times, we want to show you the gameplay as well, so you can see the improvements they've made to the match engine this year. We still have the code of conduct, which I'm going to get my assistant manager to get involved in. He can cover that for me. Team report tells us what we need to do. So what do we need? Let's go and show you transfers in action. So weaknesses, we need a goalkeeper. Okay, so if we then go back to scouting and find a goalkeeper, just to really see how transfers are different. There isn't one. That's handy. I'm going to have to use the dreaded player search screen, which I don't really like using ever. But I just want to show a transfer happening. So let's just pick a goalkeeper. Any goalkeeper. We want this guy, Jonathan Mitchell, off of Derby. So to try and sign him, oh, there you go. Make offer is up there. We then have a tutorial, which we don't want to see. Let's figure it out for ourselves. So, make an offer, which they've accepted. What I'm really trying to see here is if all the differences to contract negotiations are in this version of the game as well. So we'll have a look at that when it comes through. So we can hand negotiations over to the director of football or do them ourselves. Get rid of this. So we've got slightly... I was going to say slightly fewer options here, but actually I don't think it is fewer options. It's just that he's a goalkeeper and they naturally have fewer options. But you can you still do the... We need to give him a longer contract. Oh, that's contract start date. How do we do the... Maybe you can't do the in a few years' time you'll be so-and-so position on this version of the game. We'll finalise those promises, get into the contract. So I think it's simplified this stuff down a little bit, which is fine. Scouting, again, simple, easy to get into. So it looks like we're about to sign a goalkeeper. I don't want to look at the training induction. What I do want to do is just get into a game now. One of the other things that's missing, well, not missing, but deliberately not in FM Touch is all of the press conferences and stuff. That's all out. You occasionally get the odd little question here, but rather than having to do a new job press conference, literally just, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you move on. So again, it's all about getting into the game, getting things up and running, quick. Even to the point where, there you go, we're going to sign Mitchell, even though I don't think we necessarily needed him. They want to take him on loan. That's fine. They can have him. I'm trying to get through and show you a game without doing any kind of cuts so you can see just how quick it is. I think by randomly selecting a goalkeeper, we've actually not done too badly there. He's as good as what we've got at the moment and has the potential to get even better. So not a disastrous signing. I should just randomly sign players more often. There's your press conference. So quick, so easy, and we're already at a match. And then on match day, we don't have all the new selection advice stuff, but quick pick is still there. And you can still just quick pick if you want. One thing that always is different about FM Touch is you always have the instant result button. So, I mean, let's click it, instant result. Do we want to have a match plan? So we want to play for the win, hit yes, and just play the match. I'll show you the next match so you can see the match engine, but it's another way that you can quite easily just race through the season if you want to. I mean, I can't say that I'd use it very often, but it's quite handy if you get towards the end of a season and you know you're going to finish mid-table, there's not much else going on, and you just want to get through to the summer. You actually have the option to do it on FM Touch, which is always a nice touch. Get it? Right, we are going to show a match now, though, because people are going to want to see the match engine. I am told the match engine is improved. Presumably, it's going to look very similar to the match engine for the full version of the game. And then, obviously, if you are playing on iPad, it's going to depend on the quality of your iPad. My iPad, when I do that version later in the week, I've got an original iPad Pro, so the big one, but it's like 3 years old now. We've got match sounds, everybody! Oh, wonderful stuff. How do we turn this off? Get rid of the awful match sounds. No match sounds. I don't know why they exist, but let's get into the game. So there we go. It looks exactly like the full version of the game on my PC. Obviously, I guess they're not going to build two completely different match engines, but this is the match engine in 3D, because I know a lot of people will be playing this on tablets that maybe don't have the processing oomph to be able to play in full on 3D as they would maybe on a PC. I am going to show you the 2D view as well, which goes against everything I stand for. I don't usually play in 2D, but we'll just watch the end of this highlight. But I know on last year's FM Touch, 3D was already getting a little bit on my iPad. What a goal from Ivan Toney. But now we are going to switch so that we can see the next highlight in, no, not Data Analyst, 2D Classic. Replays are still showing in 3D, but we're going to skip the replay because we want to have a look at 2D Classic as well. Just imagine that you're playing this on an iPad or on a Nintendo Switch, and like I say, both those videos will be out just as soon as those versions are released, hopefully later on this week. I think the iPad version is out on launch day on the 19th, and the Switch version will be out at some point following on that, and as soon as it is, I'll make a video on that one. But there's your top down 2D view as well. That one disallowed for offside. I'm not going to show you the entire match. I hope that doesn't offend anybody's sensibilities, but as you can see, the match engine looks very, very similar to is it Director that we normally use? Looks very, very similar to the full version of the game. And if you want to see this match engine in action, I've got like 30 videos on the full version of the game on the channel already. You can go and watch those. But I think we will wrap things up there for this first look at FM Touch PC version. Let me know down in the comments, do you play this version of the game? I am interested in who plays Touch, why you play it, do you prefer it, is it more to do with what your computer can run? Let me know down in the comments, and like I say, as soon, probably tomorrow, maybe tomorrow we'll probably have the FM mobile video out. The day after, it'll probably be the iPad version of FM Touch. And then hopefully Stadia and Switch will follow just as soon as I have access to those games. But if you've enjoyed this first look at the game, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.